Peri Open, giải đấu đẳng cấp quốc tế tại Việt Nam. Tổng giải thưởng hơn 104.000 đô la Mỹ với 128 cầu thủ, trong đó có những cầu thủ hàng đầu bảng xếp hạng Nineball Tour. Giải đấu ranking thuộc Matchroom với những diễn biến kịch tính, khó lường. Từ mùng 5 tháng 10 đến mùng 9 tháng 10 tại Peri Pool Arena, Việt Nam. Trực tiếp trên VTV Cup, web thể thao và Việt Nam Billiard Promotion.
Xin chào quý vị và các bạn, chúng tôi đang có mặt tại Peri Pool Arena, nơi sẽ chuẩn bị diễn ra trận đấu quan trọng nhất trong toàn bộ giải Peri Nineball Open 2023. Đó chính là trận chung kết để chúng ta tìm ra được nhà quán quân đầu tiên của giải Peri Nineball Open. Và ngày hôm nay, chúng ta sẽ có sự góp mặt của hai cầu thủ vượt qua 126 cầu thủ còn lại mà bắt đầu từ vòng loại để có mặt trong trận chung kết ngày hôm nay. Đó chính là Michael Feliciano, một cầu thủ người Philippines có những trận đấu lội ngược dòng ngoạn mục, luôn luôn thể hiện một đẳng cấp với sự thi đấu lạnh lùng và luôn luôn giữ cho mình một cái đầu lạnh để chiến thắng mọi đối thủ. Và phía bên kia chiến tuyến là Federgot, một cầu thủ có rất nhiều các fan hâm mộ tại Việt Nam và anh luôn thể hiện được đẳng cấp thế giới của mình trong từng đường bi. Và ngay sau đây sẽ là những diễn biến của trận đấu.
Welcome back to the action. This is the final of the Peri Open 9-ball, the inaugural. And if the lag is anything to go by, we are in for a very special final. There you can see the post of the TV screen behind. Michael Feliciano on the left, the Filipino. What a match he played in his semi-finals. He's up against Fedor Gorst, one of the young guns on the World Tour. Beaten finalist just last week at the US Open Pool Championship. Narrowly losing out to Kopin Jung. What a player that young man is. That's his route to the final. Pretty convincing journey through and all, not really been tested, so that shows you the form he's been in. And let's be honest, his last three matches, three of the top Asian players dispatched of. Denis Orkolo, good to see him back this week. $25,000 to the winner, so this is big money at stake. This is Feliciano's route. Again, that is a very impressive route as well. Hill last 16 over his fellow countryman Jeffrey Roder. Beat Sanjin Perlovanovic convincing. But for me, the semi-final performance may have been the best of all. Goes to break in rack 1. Jeremy Jones in comms as always. JJ, how do you see this final going? What have you spotted from both of our opponents here at the Peri Open?
Well, the first thing I've spotted is maybe not the best break off from Federer, especially. He's so consistent at everything he does. But what I feel about Feliciano is, of course, he's Filipino, so tactically they're usually pretty good. But I think he's just the type of player that has a very high offensive gear. He believes in it. He had 3 or 4 mistakes just the first 2 or 3 games, it seemed like, in the semifinal, and left that behind and knew that he was still in it because of that offensive prowess. And I think you're going to see more of that, and I think that's the way he wins this tournament.
Now a race to 13.
Yeah, and Federer, I mean, there just really is no weakness. And I really shouldn't even talk like that as far as weakness is concerned. Just like right here, this shot to open, I think he was trying to make the cue ball hook a little bit up towards the purple. But I think, the feeling I get from Feliciano is he leaves a mistake behind pretty easily.
Couldn't agree more, JJ. it's his style of play. He accepts he's a bit wild on the pool table. He's going to miss balls, make errors. He just cracks on, gets on with it, and that is a very good attribute to have, let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Once you start to shore up those mistakes, you want to try and keep that mentality, really, and say it all the time. I mean, I used to lose a lot of money in the pool room betting on the side where player A looked the part, but player B, swung at the pocket a little bit, and I started to realize in time, you want to be betting on that loose player. Now, the difference here is there's, like I said, no weaknesses on Federer's game, and offensively, defensively, decisions, and probably I feel like the most long-term player there is in the game.
Three to the 4. The 4 will cut, but he's got to get the cue ball in the right spot. But the 3 ball sets up in a nice place to achieve that spot.
Yeah, and I tell you, the 4-8 combination, the way the table's playing, is not terrible either. If you can fall on that bottom rail, if you can get a nice angle here on the 3. Oh, he caught that point there a little bit. So maybe goes down for the cut on the 4.
Yeah, he wanted to pinch a bit more of the pocket. Putting that ball. I've noticed something about you, JJ, this week. You're not scared of playing a combo.
No, if it makes sense. I mean, I really have never been scared of it.
I used to hate them, unless it was dead set, I just used to make a mess of them.
Well, I think they're very mental from player to player. I mean, and back in America, one of the things that really developed your game, we played a lot of ring games when there wasn't action, where it was all offense. There was no defense at all. Multi-handed, 5-6 players, and you learn to, start to pocket balls from all kinds of places.
Can he pot this ball?
Yeah, it needs a little right English.
Oh, there you go, yeah. That overhead's deceived me a lot the last 3 days.
Well, I think the shadow on the 8 as well. They showed the scores of Federer's. I don't think they showed an early round there because he was down 5-0 when you and I arrived in town. The first match he played, didn't get to shoot. He said the guy opened with 5 racks. I can't quite remember who it was, but from there he was down 6-1, and I think it's been pretty much clinical ever since. Little off angle here. Does he have to kind of stun draw it to get to the right of the 9? Not a ball you want to follow.
Needs contact. Maybe it's his week. When little things like that go your way, you start to believe it's your day.
Well, I think Federer, he's played great. He won a world title at a young age, but I think he's in his best form ever. And I can kind of tell because at times he doesn't mind picking up the pace here and there.
Yeah, and I think he has thoroughly enjoyed this tournament. Let's not forget this event. It is in a pool hall, but what a special pool hall it is. But you've been out there, JJ. I know we're not really seeing it on camera, but when they introduce Federer and he walks through, everybody that's been here for the last 2 days, we've only had fans in for the last 2 days, they love Fedor Ghost.
Yeah, it's really amazing, and he's easy to like. Of course, we all like the great play, but you can tell the hard work's always there, and very much a professional. And he's just never got really a bad thing to say about anyone or anything. And at the venue, we were at the Hanoi Open venue earlier today, and a couple players from Brunei came up, and it kind of reminds me. And I don't think you were at those World Championships when the Prince of Brunei played, and when he played, there'd be 400 to 500 people show up just for his match. Of course, big following around the world, but maybe not the Prince of Brunei, but I think Federer Ghost is getting that following.
This is one of the rare occasions where you see Fedor using the loop bridge. Doesn't really use it in open play, does it?
He'll use it from distance, more
Okay.
like most of us that were raised playing American pool. You know, when you need some power from distance, usually the draw stroke. But I think it's something you should have, the loop bridge in 9-ball pool. And I think to me, I play my best pool. It seems like I use it more as like a trusting bridge. I'm not trying to aim so much. I feel like the stroke is better and just feel more solid with it.
For the avid World 9-Ball Tour viewer, you will have heard me say this a lot, but I'm going to say it again. This is why the break rule has been changed. The pockets here are a little more generous than some of the events we show up to. However, when you're doing this cut break, you're not always guaranteed a shot. You're not guaranteed to pot 2 or 3 balls. Good safety there from Fedor. 3 balls, a bit of an insurance for Feliciano. Maybe it will go in the left middle. Depends if it's touching that green 6.
Yeah, well, it's going to be some type of tricky position no matter what, unless it's just laid right in front of him. All right, he played a decent jump early in that match against Aranis, holding the ball on something similar here. Well, he carried that ball a long ways. This 2 needs to slow down a little bit, and it has. And I'll tell you, you know, I think his type of play, he's really gained some fans here at the Peri Open as well.
Yeah, and probably around the world. When you play this style of game, you soon become a fan's favourite. That's just the nature of the sport. It's unfortunate for the methodical players and the players who take a bit more care. That's just their style. Some people do like that, though. You know, you do see a lot of comments. The measured approach, but the fast-paced play and the shot-making abilities is what makes the sport of 9-ball easy on the eye. Kicking this, trying to put it in the side. Should go close. He goes very close as he makes it. The crowd love that. I'm not sure if you can hear that on the stream, but we're pretty close to the crowd, so me and JJ, we can hear everything.
Yeah, we've heard those applause for Federer all week, it seems like. And one thing about that fast player, you always get the feeling of that high gear, and that's always attractive. Like Sufi at the World 9-Ball, I mean, that was just so much fun to watch, and there's going to be more of those types. I'm already a fan of Feliciano, just watching him with that last match. I like this, chip in the red, trying to go a couple rails behind the brown.
Yeah, Feliciano's no stranger to finals. Got to the Sharks 9-ball final where he lost out to Ko Ping Chun.
How's this 6-ball going near the pink? Like somehow maybe a rail first, it might make the pink, trying to move this ball around the table. Okay, he missed that. And Federer really covers all bases. He's going to look at that and see. Little shy guy here, though. I was a little surprised he went long with the 3 to 4 rail approach instead of just going 2 rails drifting behind the 7. Not saying it was right or wrong. I just anticipated the 2 rails more than trying to go a little further with the cue ball. Maybe a similar shot here from Feliciano if he can't pocket it.
Yeah, the thing with Feliciano, he won't be scared of trying to do something a little funky. Even if he has to bend this a little bit or jump or play it with right, he's not scared to draw this ball in loads of right. He'll have a go at that.
Yeah, and he may jump it with the full cue if it's just a sliver. Oh, he's shooting.
That's his game, folks. That's why he's good to watch. Wasn't far away. And it's not easy when you're trying to play with the right spin. He's trying to turn the ball over because he felt he couldn't see the potting angle. He's trying to cheat it a little bit.
Yeah, trying to make the 3-ball grab with that English a little bit. And again, though, they showed him right after the miss, and I just don't feel like he worries so much. That, to me, tells me a very confident player that feels like he can put a lot of racks together, and we saw it in the last match. Now, nothing major here. He can stop it. He can pinch it back a few inches probably, but no reason to have a ton of speed here. Little bit of a cut. Probably hits it in with a little authority. It's always a sign of a confident player when they add a little more speed to shots like that. Now 2-0 lead. Kick shot on the 2. Didn't get the safety he wanted, but did produce a miss. Oh, and it wasn't far off. And like Feliciano, and we saw in the last match, those score lines that we saw earlier from Federer throughout the tournament tells you he put racks together. And we didn't get to witness the Raga match, but you know the way Raga plays, you got to believe he put 4 or 5 racks together in that match as well. And I guess I don't know for sure, of course, but man, all the sports I do know a bit about. Pool players have to be some of the most versatile athletes in the world.
In what sense, JJ? Elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, they're always having to make little changes to things when something's not working. You know, a lot of sports, you can, you know, it's fairly concrete in so many things, but pool, you can't practice everything. It's just impossible to mathematically, all the balls on the table in the space. It's just so I mean, you know, I think there's a lot of gut instinct that comes into pool and just things you have to trust. And it's amazing how they respond, the players.
Issues on the red 3. Does go past the 8 as a bank if he can roll forward, which I believe he can, JJ.
Yeah, and you're looking at one of the best bankers in the world, 2-time bank pool champion at the Derby. And that's another thing. How many different disciplines? Of course, 9-ball pool's where it's at. But he's going for the breakout, so he's feeling really good. Surprised there he didn't lay up for the bank with the 4 so near. I mean, the only sport I can think of that have so many different kinds of things like that, right? Track and field, maybe, where you may find an athlete that has, you know, 4 or 5 different kinds of events that they perform in.
I'm going to throw tennis out there to a degree just because of the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, golf's like that as well. You have courses that set up for certain types of players, and then the majors come along and you kind of discard a lot of players just because of how difficult and how mentally demanding major tournaments are. But yeah, there's some that have variations, I think, that are fairly similar. Now the jump, very difficult to take on here with the 7 so far away and not much space between the 7 and 3, along with the 3 being near a rail. So Federer Gorst, one of the best, if not the best jumper in the world. If he doesn't take this on, that tells you. Now there's all kinds of ways you can look at this kick safe here. You can kick off the bottom rail, trying to chip 3 up into the 5 and come across towards the pink with the cue ball. You can kick to the side rail like he's looking, come into a real full hit on the 3, trying to bang it around the table, holding the ball. Now, he may be trying to entertain making this, and there's a couple reasons why. If he spins it, he's going to come up above. He's got a little cover with the 4-9. He can actually make it off the 9 going into the rail. So I wouldn't be surprised he's trying to make this one. Yeah, like, oh, he hit it with too much high ball. The slick felt. And remember, it's only at 2-0, but it was a ball in hand. in the semifinal with 6-1 lead with Aranis that really turned that match around. And, you know, when you do something like that, you kind of feel foolish, but he knows he just caught it a little thick.
Yeah, it still hurts when you do something like that.
All right, setting up to run the cue ball one rail between the 7 and 5. Could draw it. It's going to land a hair straight. He's got enough, and he's got a very powerful stroke. Really moves the ball easily, so should get off the rail, no problem.
Yeah, also with that big powerful stroke, you can see the big long cue action. I bet he can get some spin on that cue ball and all when he needs to.
Yeah, well, this fell a little off angle here. This isn't the type of ball you want to stun to the rail and back over. Very missable. So he's going to have to draw by the 9.
I'll tell you where he is talented, JJ. This is just years and years of playing the game. When he addresses the cue ball, look how quick he's got the cue going back and forth, and look how close the tip is to the cue ball.
Yeah. I think it's only Bustamante out of all the Filipino players that I've ever witnessed that was far away from the ball. Most are pretty close.
Look at this. This is a prime example. Look how close the tip is to the white.
Yeah, and it's amazing because he's got quite a bit of cue action with the pre-strokes, but then he calms it down pretty well when it comes time to strike the ball. That's an obvious sign of a player that started at a young age to me.
Really enjoy watching this man play. I really do. I think you called it before. When you look at the likes of Sufi, they've got their own style. It's unique. Maybe they don't play the game the perfect way, but they play it their own way.
Yeah, and a couple things there. No Federer again, he's feeling good. But I really was a little shocked he didn't entertain that cross-side bank on the 3. Again with the 4 right there. So 2-1 Federer Gorse, but now Feliciano on the breaking side.
Showed us in the semi-finals. He's got a good cut break. Watch the 1 ball. There it is. Oh, and there's the cue ball off the side rail. That always hurts as a pro when you do that.
Yeah, we talk about this break in so many ways. You know, you can scratch all kinds of ways with kisses, but when you go 1 rail at that side without the kisses, that's the one that hurts because it's a little on you.
Yeah, it's a little bit like when the 1 ball's on the spot and you break off and send it straight into the side across. That one used to hurt as well.
Yeah, you're talking about breaking from the side rail, I'm sure, but yeah, often talked about that. I think most break because when you're breaking from the side rail and you're trying to get the cue ball in the center of the table, that's a miss hit on the 1. So what I was always taught is you consider the center of the table on the line you're breaking on, and that's what brings you into a flush hit on the 1.
Compact cue is his Gorse. There's a good look. That's what makes him such a great player. Good fundamentals. Stays very still on the shot.
Well, he deceives so many because, like all of us, we're human. But the one thing he does is he never quits at impact. You know, he keeps the cue going, and what happens there is you just have a greater room for error overall. Really just no shots that don't disagree with that type of technique. Should play the 8 up long. No reason to really move the cue off the 7 from the position he's in on the 6 and the 9 so available.
Yeah, that's come off the rail enough. Been a good start to the final, this.
Yeah, and those special players, you know, a mistake can get to any of them, but most of them, it's more of a trigger where they have a little talk with themselves. And some players down that totem pole, that mistake early or two can really be detrimental mentally.
If he does go on to win this final, he's going to be a very popular winner here in this Peri Pool Arena. Win a break, race to 13, Fedor goes 3-1 up. That was the break from Feliciano. That hurt. This is a recap of what Gorse did. We're on a timeout, I believe. Oh no, Fedor's still there, sorry. I presume when he was speaking to the referee, we were asking if he could go for a timeout, but not sure what he was asking. But both players are still there, so this match will continue. (9-3) last 64, 10-3 last 32. Then he beats Orcolo 10 racks to 2. Fuchewi 10-4. Dismantle Raga 11-5 in the semi-finals. As JJ said, in the double elimination stage, he was 5-0, 6-1 down. Would have still had a life to qualify, but actually ended up coming back and winning the match. So he has been tested here this week. Cue ball's flying around. Looks like he's going to get a shot if the 8 ball gets out of the way. And this is nice, JJ. This is very nice.
Yeah. We'll get a look at the red 3. It's near the pocket. So, a little traffic there. It's just a matter if he's thick enough on the 2 to be able to draw a couple rails between the 8 and 4. That's what he's looking at, pointing the cue there. Looks pretty good to me. We talked about it also. You can use the rail here at the Peri Open a little bit. So he wants to stay thick on this. That way he doesn't clip the 8. And even if he clips the 8, most likely he guides down for a shot on the 3. So don't baby it.
Play for the 4 in the right hand side. Make sure you land low. Yeah, you see where the cue ball is low of the potting angle? That means when he rolls the cue ball forward, he's naturally going to go up table.
Yeah, looking good. Take advantage of these racks that set up nice. Of course, it's a constant working kind of deal in 9-ball pool. But you can see the 5's near the 6 now. 7, not too bad from the center of the table, so should extend the lead. And checking the speed here, and I think it's ideal. Just bump the 8 in for a routine 9.
Another match where Fedor Gorst is breaking away early on. He's breaking very well. He's getting shots after the break, and he's 4-1 up. Well, if you've missed the breaking news, that was released about an hour ago. The second players for the Mosconi Cup have been announced. David Alcaide is in the team for Team Europe. He joins his Spanish pool buddy, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. But the biggest news of all, America's second player is the man in this final. Fedor Gorst will play for Team USA in London at the Mosconi Cup. JJ, thoughts? How much are you looking forward to working with Fedor? I know you're a big fan of his game.
Yeah, absolutely. And he and I have talked about things before a little bit, and I can't wait to really put in that physical time. And I think I'm just as way more lucky maybe than he is in any regard of learning something. And just a wonderful guy to be around. I think he's going to be a great addition to the team.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. There's been a lot involved to get Fedor to play for Team USA. But what will happen is this really throws the competition up in the air for me. I can't wait for the Mosconi Cup now, because no disrespect, Jeremy, but Europe have had the edge over the years. You know, we've won it a little bit more times than you, just 2 since 2009, I believe. So it's not been the best of time for you over across the pond, has it, buddy?
No, but I mean, you know, that it's the type of sport that goes in trends like that, and you know, Europe has had the better players, you know, as a whole, the last probably decade. But I mean, kind of went that way to begin with. Whenever I played it, there were a lot of great players on the European team. We just happened to make, you know, a lot of good runs as a team and Team USA. So, but hats off to Team Europe, what they've done so far. But you know, they got their hands full come December.
Yeah, I think the big thing for me is, I know I've been very vocal the last 2 or 3 Mosconi Cups. I've always felt like you've been one player short, so it's not the worst player to have representing red, white and blue. What a Mosconi Cup, 30th anniversary.
Well, yeah, and you know, I really feel like the last 2 years, you know, last year, this is what I was wondering about, the little tactical things. And you know, the thing is, when you don't feel as good about your tactical game, when you're in the finals, you're going to be maybe a little nervous and make a mistake or two, but that's a big one there. You know, and is that trying to get it too good behind the pink there? Maybe trying to really freeze him?
Yeah, and also probably his cue action. It's that bit of a crazy cue action. Them little touch shots, probably not his strongest point.
Yeah, well, I talk about it all the time. When you have a faster kind of cue action, the lighter shots are the ones that the nerves are going to get you. You know, when he's unloading the cue, he looks very, very comfortable. But just to get back to the last couple of years, super proud of our team, the way they fought. Just a few things didn't go our way 2 years ago. I think it was day 2. We could have really got a big lead. And, you know, it was a funny Mosconi, of course. But then last year we were right there to win it as well. Just let a few things get away. And, of course, any great players, just like on our side, they're going to capitalize on mistakes. So this is where Federer manages so well. He'll, of course, get the cue ball off the rail, but he's not going to try and you know, do too much. It's kind of like this. You can work real hard and take a chance on one shot on the pink, making the 6 easier, or you can work a little bit on both shots. Is he hitting a high ball here? Yeah, so he doesn't feel much like he's going to miss.
Wants to impress his new captain.
Another such impressive thing about Federer, and really not just Federer, but a lot of players and the ones that are really getting the results, is they don't stand still. They really feel like there's ways to improve, and they want to seek those improvements out. And that's really not just about yourself, but just understanding how many great players there are.
Well, that was reminiscent of the 9-ball he missed against Filler. You remember that one, JJ? It's very similar, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I'll tell you, the difference is the confidence. Did you see froze on the rail? How much speed he put on that? A lot of players are trying to hit it light, and this 4-ball tells you a lot about how he's feeling as well.
Turning out to be a very commanding lead, this. Such a great performance in the early stages of this final. Tuning into 9-ball for the first time. Where have you been, by the way?
Yeah, I wanted to get the snooker there. Probably caught that. I don't think he could really like play it pinpoint. I don't know if he caught the ball exactly how he wanted, but he had to get by the 4-9. Couldn't surrender an offensive shot.
Once this close, because Ghostie's one of the best with the short stick.
Well, I say him and, well, there's so many great ones with the short stick, but Skylar Woodward under the pressure, really good with the short stick, but I guess I would have to give it to Federer. And this is the difference. Like, he'll shoot a bunch of shots with the jump cue where many will say, I can't pull the trigger on this under the pressure with just a few inches between him and the pink 4.
What an effort that really was.
Well, the thing about it, when you're close to the ball and you have to carry it away, is you have to hit the cue ball squarely, or else it's going to curve once it starts to, hit the felt and start to grab with a little side spin. Pretty decent, but I thought it was actually cuttable. Of course, these guys are at the table, so they see it best. Is there a kiss shot on the pink 4 here? You can only see the bottom of the blue 2. Maybe a cross-side bank. Just if he can only see a little bit, maybe he uses the 4 to hold the cue ball. That way, knocking the 2 by the 9, getting a snooker that way. Yeah, and you wonder what happened there. He felt like he was going to glide off the top of the pink and go to the rail using the 9. I wouldn't say fortunate maybe, but maybe a little bit that the 2 got in the position where the green 6 is covering the pocket. And you never know with 9-ball, things can turn around, but I kind of feel like Feliciano is going to get in the point to bury a big ball at some point to maybe put some racks together. Well, this long rail bank goes. I think it goes anyways. Hard to tell sometimes. That's a little tight, so I'll probably try to play the 2 behind the 6, guiding the cue ball over. What he's looking at now is not just to get behind the 8, but try and use the 8 and the 6. They give you a little more room for the cue ball. He's got to edge this. Yeah, this is going to hurt. This one's going to hurt. Now he's taking some time because he's near the rail. And maybe the angle, you may put a little more speed on this and go to the rail and then by the 7 and back up for the 3 in the side. That way he's in a little more control of the cue ball. Yeah, just like that. He's trying to get by the 7. Little fortunate there. Could have landed on the rail. Not really a snooker really was ever going to be a problem, but I think he came away with a little easier shot than what could have been.
Yeah, just pop your ball now into the top right corner. Get past the 9. The angle's there anyway. You could sort of roll forward. Could even stun it in and come below the middle.
Yeah, I think you'll see him shoot it like that. I mean, it's a more comfortable way, especially if you're feeling good. And the funny thing about Federer is he drops the tip at the last, where that's more old school style if you've ever watched some of the players from way back, where most these days they actually have the tip near the felt and then the tip comes up a little bit, kind of like a la Efren Reyes.
Bit of a stretch. Quite a tall fella, Fedor. Still had to put the extension on the cue. You will see that on these tables. Pockets, we've said all week, playing quite generous for the pro level. It's kind of just the way it is at the minute on the World Nineball Tour, where we still figure things out and things will evolve and change as we move forward. For years, the top professionals, JJ, we've always felt the pockets are a bit too big, haven't we? Even though, obviously, you've played for a lot longer than me, but even when I started playing, I always felt like they were a bit too generous. They didn't need to be as big as they were.
Yeah, when I first started playing professionally, actually, they were pretty snug, and the kind of changed a little bit.
When you say snug, what size were they, or cut? And why did they go bigger then? If they was smaller when you started, at what point and why did they go bigger?
Well, many people involved on the promoting side of things thought that people just wanted to see break and runs all the time, and they just didn't realize that, that's good and all for a little bit, but then you start to realize it's not much of a fight between two players. And what happens is, and not taking it away from the players, but they realize it's just kind of a flip of a coin. Okay, you win a match this time because you get the shots after the break, and I'll win the match next time, kind of thing. So, but when we used to have the Camel Pro Beard series, and yeah, those diamond tables were super snug, 4 1/4, but they were just played tight. There wasn't always brand new felt. The tables traveled from one tournament to the next. But now I think it's much more proper, especially with the break rule. And we don't, I think back then, didn't give the spectators enough credit. They understand. They start to learn the game, even the ones that are just, kind of newbies to it. Once you start to grasp what's going on, the tactical side of the game and tough decisions running out, that's a big part of it. Okay, if you're his cut man in this corner, because he is bleeding a little bit, Feliciano. What do you say?
Well, I think you've just got to say, buddy, we've been here before, semi-final. You're in this position, that can't change. Do what you can to make this a game. Any opportunity you get, let's just see what you can do. Let's set a target. Let's say 10-10, 11-11.
Yeah, I like that. And, I don't think he has any problem trying to bury a big shot, so I think that would be a topic. Hey, let's knock one in and put a few racks together.
Ghost, he's a different player though, isn't he? He didn't win the US Open, but he went through a lot of battles over the 6 days there in Atlantic City, and he's clearly a player in form. And he's also breaking well. As the 1 ball disappears, 2 ball needs to get past the purple.
That's no problem for him. Hate to say it, but I mean, he's a huge favorite to make this 2 ball, and did break him awfully nice. And again, if you see the timing, when they start to get the big spreads, that's when they're really starting to hit the break shot at their best. And thing about Federer is he didn't give away that U.S. Open final. Ko Ping Chung just put on a display for the ages, really. This is, I think, snookered on the make. It looks like it to me anyways. May be able to swerve around with a little inside spin. I think he can get a piece of it. And if he can, elects not to. It's close. He's got a couple options here, though, if he can't make the ball. He could overcut the 3 of the rail with inside and run a couple rails up behind the 7-8. I think, these players, and I'm sure you were like this, I was pretty good at this myself, the little subtle swerve. But the subtle swerve is very hard to gauge on the slick table.
He's playing a... though.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, though. And the thing we talked about the other day, on a slick table, it still swerves out. It just doesn't bite back as well.
Had to shoot it, though, when you could see that angle.
Yeah, and, he's probably smart enough to realize it's not going to hang. It's not going to hang there. It's either going to hit the top of the pocket, go, or probably get away from that pocket. So I think percentage is on his side. Got to get these safeties, though, whether it be behind the 9 with the cue ball, whatever it may be. He's missed a couple of them.
Looks good. Beautiful use of right English there. Spinning the cue ball over to hide behind the 9. Watch the cue ball.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, though, the head started to raise a little bit. And that doesn't really happen with the harder strokes. It's the softer strokes that look a little on the uneasy side for Feliciano.
This is a tight one. Good effort, just missed it. You could see what he was trying to achieve. And that was all caused because of the brilliance from Feliciano. Cue ball in hand. He was 6-1 down in the semi-finals. Is this the start of another epic comeback? Still a long way to go. Federer's not at the halfway point just yet. Hovering. That's the other thing you'd tell yourself, JJ, before when we were speaking about it. Sit in your chair and say, well, yeah, he's won the first half of the match.
Yeah, right. But even that ball in hand, you could tell he wasn't so happy the way he hit the soft one there. But I think I'd almost bet that he just put a lot of racks together throughout this tournament, and that's what he's going to look to do again in this final.
Yeah, and I don't know if you were like this, JJ. Sometimes when you're playing a pool match, sometimes you relish being behind. I don't know why. Sometimes you just sit there and think, right, let's go.
Yeah, I was kind of a slow starter in matches a lot of times, so, and I always felt like, once I got going, I could overcome leads, and so it just didn't I mean, I didn't like it, of course, especially if I made mistakes to get behind. But if things didn't go my way, I learned to let it not bother me pretty easily. When you're playing the game, you know, when you're really in tune, you're training right and all that, you kind of forget about your opponent a little bit.
Not scared to spin the cue ball around the angles. This art has been carved out in the streets of the Philippines.
Well, like golf, you know, they're not always the best technique, the best ball strikers, and I think that's what you would call Feliciano right here. He's a ball striker, not afraid to put a little into it.
Feliciano's took a time out, so me and JJ are going to take a quick time out. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, folks, to see. Feliciano, he's no stranger to a comeback. In the semi-finals, he produced a beauty against Arenas. He needs another one here. 6 ball. Oh, he's got kicked away. Looked like it was going to go in. Federer's got a long shot. Can he hold it for the combo, or is the angle going into the blue too?
Yeah, he definitely can't hold it. He could draw to the side rail if he really wanted to, but making the one a lot more missable that way. So I think he just levels out, takes his chances, going into the 2 and 6. Yeah, you got to gamble playing 9-ball, that's for sure. And we'll see with a very difficult blue 2. It was a difficult one. Should help him here on the 2. A little confidence. This is funny, though. You don't want to dead roll this. So are you looking at where he may have to elevate here to kind of stun this over? Maybe power through it?
Two ball needs to hold up.
Yeah, it held up enough, I believe, anyways. A little over the 7. Go ahead and let the cue ball run a little bit. That way you get good contact. I think the 5-9, huh? I mean, you could come down for the side, but getting back on the 6 still tricky. So he's got to knock in the 3 and the 4 and then make a decision. I don't think the 5-9 combo is too difficult, even though it's a little ways away from the corner. Now a big decision. Could draw up the side rail. Want a little more angle, so he's going to have to force this a bit. But this position here, when I got to force it, I like to try to get it to position as quick as possible. So maybe just a little bit on this side of the head string. He went in and drew up the rail. Now this is the question mark. Is he going to be able to get on the 6?
This is where we might see a little bit of Michael magic. Got a little bit of an angle, JJ.
Yeah, I think he's going to just have to get what he can out of it and take the cut on the 6. This is where you got to remind yourself, if you get this shot, you're not a big favorite to make the 6, but a considerable favorite. So don't force it here on the 5 and cause a miss here early. I think that's the right shot.
Nicely done.
Quite a bit of area here. He could have stayed above the 8. Now he's made this a touchy 8 ball. Awkward cueing out of the pocket. Can he just roll this? I mean, this... I guess it's okay.
Yeah, he jumped up, JJ. You've got to stay still on that shot. It's imperative you stay still. That's rule number one.
Yeah, but he jumps up on the softer shots. You can see the head start to come up with the stroke, and it really doesn't happen as much with when he gets to swing the cue a bit.
Yeah, because hitting softer shots is arguably one of the most difficult shots for the professionals. It's just a shot you don't really like. When you were speaking before about Fedor Gorst, you know, one of his biggest attributes is he doesn't quit through the ball, does he? He just sends a cue through. And the way Feliciano plays the game, them touchy shots seems to the one that get away from him. Big moment here in the final.
Well, I think that lot of cue movement really doesn't set up for the touchy, the softer ones as much, and you find a little few decels, and you know, hard to believe he aimed that thick. I think it was more of a, you know, maybe the stroke wasn't good, causing a little so-so contact on the 8.
Reprieve for Fedor. Things were starting to get a little bit interesting. That just opens that gap up again. Wasn't easy. That was the missed 8 ball. That was the chance.
Well, now over halfway home to this race at 13 in the final. Long way to go for Feliciano, but he can still look at it, though. You know how us pool players think. As long as they're not on the heel, we feel pretty decent. We can win it. Just wonder, though, that kind of mistake usually gets punished with another game or two.
Cue ball got kicked in all kinds of places.
Yeah, and he knows that's on him. That's like his opening break caught the one quite thin. You could see it diving way below the middle diamond. Probably fortunate not to get a kiss and a scratch.
Yeah, also I noticed there was no draw on the cue ball, because when the cue ball hit the rail, that left spin you're talking about, JJ, was going towards the opposite corner pocket.
Yeah, but when you cut it too thin, the draw just can't overcome the cut on the one. It's a real fine line, that cut break.
Yeah, the players are making it look easier these days, but it's actually not. We knew that would come, though, didn't we? We knew the pros would figure it out as best as they could, but it's still not guaranteed the break.
Yeah, and it can become mental when you get a few unfortunate scratches. You don't get a shot at the lowest value ball for half the match, or what feels like weeks at times. But this is where he becomes a big advantage with that jump cue, I believe. I'm surprised he's not pushing out to a jump behind the 8-9. Maybe he feels like Feliciano knocks that in. But he can kind of look at this. This cue ball is going to be sliding over with some speed. So this is the type that could rattle in the pocket, but still most likely not. Now, this is where the technique has gotten a little different than years ago with the jump cue. We're not going to see it. That first view would have shown it, but that little wrist action right at impact, that's what makes it so much more accurate. And, of course, the equipment allows it.
Needs a bit of help. Hasn't left a pot, but he's left Feliciano with the opportunity to lay a good safety There's the spin on the cue ball. Is it hard enough? Sort of, but we know how good Fedor's with his jump cue.
Yeah, he can bang this away and maybe try and drop him below the 6. That way he can cut the 2 a little bit. Think he may have a look at this. It's close. I think the overhead says yes. He's a pretty fast player, though, and not down on the ball yet. Maybe trying to regroup if he does have a shot at the blue, too. But this is another one. Just watch how much the cue action, how fast the pre-strokes are. And they generally slow down a little bit as they're being made, but again, that doesn't set up for some of the softer shots. This one is not going to be struck real hard. Time and time again during this match, it's been the light ones.
Yeah, well spotted, JJ. You've picked that one out. Maybe after this you should go and offer your coaching services to Feliciano.
Well, I can't say that. I mean, I think he probably has recognized that through his career a little bit. But, I mean, he also has a big high gear, right? So he's going to win it his way, and nothing wrong with that. Just needs to get started, that's all.
I thought you were going to say he'd probably smack me in the mouth at first when you started talking.
Well, it's funny. You watch so much pool, you just kind of start to see trends with people and players. Okay, he can cheat the pocket here to move the cue ball. Probably comes above the 8. Could just come up for the 8 in the side, hitting the 6 nice and full. Yeah, like that. And I'll tell you, if you ever want to learn about position, right, just practice trying to move the cue ball as least as possible while trying to run out. It'll teach you a lot.
Well, at 6-2, Feliciano missed that 8 ball over the pocket. That little thin one where he had to roll it. That was his chance to get back in the game. Now, Fedor is steamrolling away. It's 8-2 here at the Peri Nineball Open Final. The young man is looking really strong indeed. And what a run he's on. What a moment in his pool career. Sends the pack. Perfect. Shot of the...
Yeah, and that's really what he's kind of eluded a little bit. Got to the table a few times, but I thought with mistakes come punishment, and now we're seeing it. It's a funny shot here. Anytime you got distance, he doesn't want to just stop right there. It's an odd shot, even though I think it's okay. So I think you have to err a little on the short side. Meaning don't overdraw it. Yeah, that's okay. He was just guaranteeing again that he can roll this ball and get by the side if needed. Yeah, maybe he got right in that point where he is going at the side pocket. Looks floatable to me, this ball. Even if you are going at the side, looks like you can hit it easy enough to guard against that scratch. I would rather do that than try and add a bunch of speed, trying to make it kind of bounce off the pink and get past the side.
Yeah, this is where hours and hours, the dedication, the practice comes in, because if you're not playing a lot and you're just dibbing in and out, this is where this shot can fool you. You've got to really trust where the cue ball's going. We talk about that natural path, JJ. You know, where you hit centre ball. Obviously, he's got to hit top of centre ball here. But really understanding where that cue ball takes its natural path.
Yeah, I think he's floating it.
Yeah, you could see it was certainly going towards the side pocket, which was fine. He's got a nice angle here. Comes through the gap of the 8 and 9 ball.
Yeah, but if you watch that shot, it was on the lighter side, but you never felt like he was kind of guiding it, right? He still kind of shot it a little bit. And that's a little more of that technique. Okay, just got to avoid the 9 and 7.
Is it a little bit pacey? Needs to slow down. May have to play the bank now.
It's close. I think it's cuttable. Of course, the cue ball's going to have some speed, but don't think he backs down one way or another. If he doesn't play the cut, I think he will play your bank.
Yeah, decided to play the cut. Couldn't really blame him, just didn't really get there.
All right. Real tidy position to get back on the board, and really got to get something going.
Okay, 8-3. Gore still needs 5 racks. That's still a decent amount of racks. The fact that it's now a race to 13 just gives the player who's behind just that couple more chances than when we play a shorter race. So don't be fooled, Feliciano is definitely still in this match. There goes the one. There's clusters over here. He's going to need some help. May be able to get to the rail. The 4 balls touch and go, though, in its way.
Yeah, I think the rail first, getting at the 2 is possible, but I don't know about the make on the 2. Maybe the pink 4 has that a little cut off. But talked about earlier, burying a big shot. If the rail first is there, maybe something to try and knock in now. First position on the 3 isn't easy, and a great look here. I think it's doable.
Can he get there? Can he get past that pink 4? In between the pink 4 and the 6, rail first. He's having a go. Well, he's having a go in a minute. Obviously, Fedor will have the option to shoot this ball. Obviously, if he does pop the blue 2, you feel like cue ball's going into the 8 ball.
Yeah, maybe try and see what's possible with the kick and stick, right? I mean, if you feel like you can dig on it, get in behind it, and get the 2 1 rail by the 8, there's so much possibility of cover there. He's going to give it back. Yeah, very difficult play on the side here. Probably cuts the 2 up the table, trying to track the cue ball back behind. I don't know, the 7 maybe, the 6. This 2 on the side is super tough.
That is a lot more difficult than he's made it look, and this really sets up nice. He's just
yeah, and especially after, you know, big miss on that 6 ball to get Feliciano back on the board. I mean, easy to say, let me try and protect my lead on a very difficult shot with a safety, but that's not what the best players are made of.
As he just left himself decent size, cause him issues anyway.
All right, I don't think the 6 has any issues going by the 7. Maybe a hair tight. Close enough here he can get the cue ball by the 8 with no problems. Little draw stroke trying to kill the cue ball. A little bit more of a shot on the 9 than I anticipated. I always like drawing this ball, Carl. Even if I could follow it and get the side rail, I just like hitting this with a little more authority than just kind of trying to roll it in that side. Got a feel for Feliciano right there on the push out. Looked like he made a good attempt trying to get the snooker, but it seems Vennergorst made a great decision passing it, and then an even better shot at that blue 2 in the side to get the run started. 9-3 now.
Nineball's come to block. There you see that kiss you see now and again off the 9, sends the cue ball low.
I'm sure some type of long distance jump here. You're so good at that, you got to utilize it. And I tell you, if he sets up a jump that Feliciano feels any kind of doable, I think he should take it on and try and put some racks together. this one here, of course, not easy or not hard to pass, but tell you what, if he had put the cue ball a little more off the rail, when I was in Feliciano's corner, I was like I said earlier, let's knock in a big shot, put some racks together.
As he fluked the 3.
As he fluked the 2. It's going to be a little short, maybe up against the pink.
Yeah, I think he is, JJ. I think you've clocked that one. I think he's got a roll there. Easy kick, but could have been worse.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I may kick to try and make this in the corner and run the cue ball. He's coming across it. And that's a good effort. Nothing wrong with that.
Good chance for Ghost up into the top left corner. Could also play it in the left centre, which would mean striking down on the cue ball to get on the red 3. So a couple of options. I think if he's straight, he'll just play it into the corner, run the cue ball through the gap. Basically, the cue ball just follows the path of the 2. Here we go. Top left corner. Is it clean? It is clean. It's in the middle of the pocket. Ghost with a great chance to get to double figures now. The magic number 13 is what will win you the inaugural Peri Nineball Open trophy. And a small matter of 25,000 USD. If he's dead straight, he'll just draw the cue ball back. A little bit of angle, he'll send the cue ball into that right rail and just pull up for the green 6. He's having a good look, so he must be straight. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch. The 9-ball's in his way for the bridge hand as well. Can he just get past it a little bit? Dead straight, so this is not easy. Got to judge the pace. Well, he played it into the left side of the pocket to change the angle of the cue ball. Just don't really see a way back for Feliciano in this match, I'm afraid. I know it can still happen, but just get the feeling. Ghost, he's going to snap this title off. It's just looking too good at the moment.
Yeah, and it's just been really a solid one here. I wouldn't say it's been his absolute best from top to bottom, but it's been really good at the right moments.
delightful break. Gonna need to play safe on the blue 2, it looks like.
Yeah, Federer, if you know him, he's got quite a bit of wit about him, and just a pleasure to be around. But I think a little shake of the head there, saying to himself, man, when I hit him good, I'm not coming away with a shot. I've hit a few bad and come away with a shot. It's just a funny thing. Boy, if he could edge this, right? And this is where the shot's not that difficult overall. Just got to trust floating above the 4.
Did he get there? I think he just did.
Yeah, probably the cue ball off the right side of the 2, up behind the 7-9. And this one sits so nice. He can, normally on this shot you just want to lay on the rail behind these balls, but this one lays so nice. He may be able to come up on the 9 with the cue ball.
Yeah, this looks very tasty indeed. It's not going to get behind the 9. It might even leave Feliciano the jump, which is always the danger. But listen, if you fed or ghost, it doesn't matter, does it? Well, we heard the jump shot. Is it going to sit over the middle? Of course it's going to sit over the middle. This is just going along nicely. He's tied the pink 4 up, which is going to be awkward because of where the red 3 is, but can he get on this combo?
The triple. Triple Lindy. You ever see that movie, Back to School? Maybe a little before your time.
Yeah,
Rodney Dangerfield.
I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, Captain.
You don't know who Rodney Dangerfield is?
No, he's that bad. And we're going to get slated online because I don't know who he is.
Maybe a little bit. I mean, you're not 30. What are you, 35?
I'll take that. That'll do.
40, I guess. Huh?
35's good.
Okay. Yeah, right. You ever see Caddyshack, the golf movie Caddyshack?
Yes.
Okay, so the absurd guy that comes in and tries to take over the country club.
Oh, okay.
That's
Right,
Rodney Dangerfield.
I'm with you.
All right, this won't be slow rolled.
Good movie, to be fair, actually.
Oh, great movie. Chevy Chase, Bill Murray. Just a great kind of funny comedy.
Tell you the movie that I've been wanting to watch recently for a while, because it's been a few years since I watched it, The Colour of Money. I've just not seen it for a few years.
I watched it not long ago. Yeah, I think this is all right here. The play on the... Could bank the 3 away. Going 2 rails underneath the 9, put the 3 up by the 4-5, but I think you got to go for this. Yeah, and if you're not going to be straight behind it on this kind of combination into 2 other balls actually sits okay. If you're above it, like on the other side of the 3, it's not as comfortable for some reason. Now you can hit it with more of that speed, kind of a little bit of a stun.
Yeah, good cue ball. A little bit fortunate because it nudged the 4.
Yeah, and I understand the cue ball safety and hard to argue, but I really feel like he buries that triple combination if just shoots it and stuns over. But again, hard to argue playing the cue ball, especially, right, a big lead at 10-3. A little bit of a roll. Nice hit holding the cue ball up the table, which was definitely the play. I don't think he was trying to make it with the 4 so covered up. Now Federer's going to jump this because of that 4-5. Feels like he can knock the 3 around the table. He's got a long ways to jump to 7 and get down onto the 3, so could land kind of on top of this 3 ball.
It's going to go close. But it ain't going to be close enough. Okay, we need to see something special here.
And he wants to run some racks. I mean, little tight playing short side. He could lay up for the bank here. I really don't think that's a bad option. The only reason being is you're guaranteeing that shot. Now he's hit it perfectly, it looks like. Really nice.
Couldn't put it better if he had ball in hand.
All right, making a nice out here, and just really hasn't been having a lot of opportunity here the last several games. All right, Feliciano back on the board. We've seen him break the balls really well. He's going to have to put in his best efforts from here on out and just hope them pool gods agree with a few shots after the break and get that arm loose.
Just coming up to the 1 hour 45 minute mark for this final. tight, JJ. Very tight.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about. Just, Federer, when has missed a ball or two the last few games or given up an opportunity, even if it's a kicking situation, nothing really laid that well, and now just what looks like narrowly snookered. And, if he has to jump this, it's going to be hard to work the cue ball. He has a little angle, but not a lot, and it's going away from him as far as position. Now, he can certainly elect not to play offensively, but that's a hard thing to do in this situation, or any situation, really, but especially at 10-4. Playing a subtle swerve, maybe just a jump with the full cue, and that's what I was talking about. Even with the full cue, because of not much angle and digging on the ball, it was always going to be hard to get out for the 3. And now the 7 is really hampering this jump. I have to fly this a long ways or kind of double bounce over 2 balls, which I've seen happen before. Playing the rail first. See where the tip position. Okay, he's going to play to make it. He's like Bustamante. He cues left on every shot and then comes back over across the ball.
Yeah, that gives you a perfect view of what JJ was talking about. I could never imagine myself doing that,
Well, it's just subconscious, and what happens is it's almost always a player that started at a very, very young age, and then they just got used to it and just didn't bother them.
Yeah, I think Judd Trump, the snooker player, does that to a degree at all.
Yeah, the only 2, and they're almost identical, is Rob Sayers is the same. Exactly like Bustamante. They aim the left side of the ball, and then they take the cue straight back off the left, and then they reroute the cue to the destination where they want. A little like Jim Furyk with the golf swing. Sizing up a bank here. It's usually his process when he's looking at banking them. Tries not to always throw the ball so much. Maybe a little helper here with some right English, but not a whole lot. It won't have a ton of speed either.
He said he was one of the best bank pool players in the world. And he's made a big bag shot there as he's closing in on winning this inaugural Peri Nineball Open here in Hanoi, Vietnam. It's a packed house out there. He will be a popular winner.
Yeah, if he goes on to win, he may have to watch out trying to make his match tomorrow. If he plays tomorrow, these fans here at the Peri Open will keep him. Seven's a little awkward. Just because he wants to stun to the rail. I may look at just stopping my cue ball right here and just entertain it a little bit anyways. He's got to go a long ways to get by the 9, and this is where you got to understand the slick table, and you can't really kill it. You want to hit it with some speed, of course, but let the ball take that little bit of spin and start to roll into position.
What's Feliciano got to do here, JJ? It's just not happened, has it?
Yeah, it's like those mistakes early are really getting punished here now. Just nothing to really work with. And then, of course, facing a buzzsaw here in Fedor Gorst. I just don't see any help going his way from Fedor. So, I don't know. Just let's free swing from here, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Fedor just wants to get the match won. Wants to bank the check, lift the trophy up, sign a load of autographs for an hour. Obviously, from our perspective and the fans watching, it's just felt a little flat. We always want a close match. That's sport. It doesn't always happen. But Fedor's looked good. He's looked very solid. Every time he's had a layout, he seems to have knocked them all in. Just a couple of long ball misses. That's it, really, all in all. It's been a very workmanlike performance. 11-4, just 2 more needed. And he's got the break in rack number 16.
And you nailed it on the head there. You know, with Fedor, he usually knocks in all the tough ones too, but he just doesn't give away any kind of routine outs, and that's just huge. Yeah, nice break off there. We'll see how the cue ball and the 2 agree with each other. Now decision. Then 2 to the upper right corner, but will offer position. Pretty routine safety holding him behind the pink, but I think if he feels good cueing the ball, he attacks here. He can get to the right side of the 2 to cut this in. Makes things even more playable. Did he get there? I think he's giving up a combination here.
Definitely give up a combination. Well, it looked tight from that angle. It wasn't tight, flew in. Good shot, good combo. And with UJ, just got to get the cue swinging, just try and make something happen. You can see he's trying to get himself built up for this. Went in sweet as well, didn't it? Straight down the rail.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, last hour, 2 hours has made it stressful, but I mean, that's something positive that we hadn't seen in a while. And try not to stress in your chair. Big break coming up to try and get things started. 11-5. Like we talked about earlier, anytime your opponent's not on the heel, even when you're trailing by quite a few games, you still feel like it's a very doable comeback. He's got to bolt down. He's got to take on this jump unless he feels like he can get a rail first of some sort. But it's a lot of tall task to go rail first and cut the 1 back on the 3. You could maybe go rail first and bump the 1 and kiss the 3 in, but the 6 is there, so if the 1 comes up, you may not have that shot in the side. You're not wanting to thin it lightly going into the 3. That could cause a scratch. I think it's got to be the jump. Cue ball's going to have some speed. Watch out for that side pocket at the top of your screen. Wow, that was surprising. Didn't get over the ball. And just a little bit of frustration shown there, and understandable. Okay, he'll just chip this in, the combination holding the one in the corner where he can draw up the side rail for the 2. And he hit that with a lot more speed than I expected. I thought he would just dink that in. The cue ball would be just inches away from the 1. Of course, this is such a sweet deal for these players, getting to play in an incredible event here. $104,000 purse at probably a top pool room in all of Asia, it seems, and one of the nicest ones I've been to in some time. And they get to play in this event and then move on to the Hanoi Open tomorrow.
Yeah, not long to wait. If you are worried about the end of this match coming close and you ain't got any more pool to watch, well, you would be wrong in thinking that. Tomorrow, Hanoi Open Pool Championship starts just 40 minutes away from where we are right now. This man here will be there competing, trying to go deep again.
Yeah, just cue ball on a string there, just perfect. Got a little closer to the 7. Absolute perfect angle to comfortably move over, but not too much. I think he stays above it here.
Ghost is on the hill, just one more to go to be crowned champion. Didn't get over the ball. That led to ball in hand for Fedor. And it was that 9-ball that gets Fedor to 12. 13 is the magic number. Just hasn't happened for his opponent, Michael Feliciano. And it's looking like another defeat in a final in a World 9-Ball Tour ranking event. But he showed us he has game. He has a lot of firepower. So all is not lost.
Yeah, it was just a few safeties, I think, overall at the beginning of the match that really caused the separation.
Yeah, and the 8-ball to hang on in there.
Yeah, the light one, the one he had to roll, and really the position on the 8. He had all that open table, came a long ways off the 7. Fortunate a little bit not to scratch, and now, of course, breaking to win the match.
Can we finish with a break and run? Well, at first I was thinking 2-8-9 combo, but I don't think he can avoid the scratch. The overhead will give us a better look.
Yeah, I don't think he can play that. This is going to be an awkward one.
No, he definitely can't play that, can he?
I'll tell you what he can do, though. He can bank the 2 between the 4-5. Let it come to the bottom rail and up and just run the cue ball at the 8. I think that you'll get the snooker behind using the purple 5 here. The 2 should come up on the opposite side rail. So again, just a high ball. Bank the 2 between the 4-5. Cut it a hair. Go at the 8 with the cue ball. I think that's the shot. Oh, wow. He went for the win.
Went for the thin win. Cheeky effort. Tried to play it with a bit of cover as well. Wanted the 2 ball, another couple of balls to the left. Didn't get that. So Feliciano can pot this ball into the top left corner.
Would you play the long rail bank here, though, and hold cover behind the pink? You have a combination or a kiss shot on the 3.
There's value.
Yeah, because he's got to kind of roll this. I don't think he can pop it with the side pocket being there. And I don't mean he's got to roll it so soft, but he's definitely got to hit a high ball. Lays perfect to just stitch him up behind the pink and bank it to try and make it.
Nice pot. Very nice pot. I think the 6, he's got to play it thin, the combo.
Yeah, this is awkward, and the problem is he's gotten kind of straight on it to where he'll have to draw the ball to really move the cue ball, and the 3's definitely going to move away a little bit at least. And he's got to draw some decent position on the pink 4, so nothing easy here. If he hits it a little thin to the hole, could lose the 3, cross the table on the rail. And that's a smart shot. A lot of times when you're straight, you know you can't play a lot of cue ball movement. You go forward and try and double kiss that ball to hold some type of position. Now he's got to make another big one.
Fedor's got a chance for the title here. Oh, the 3 just pulled across a little bit, didn't it, at the last minute?
Yeah, and I was talking to, I think it was Chu and Aranis, and I asked him about Feliciano a few things, and I was like, I know there's a player that he kind of mimics his game after. I can't quite pinpoint who it is, and they said, oh yeah, Carlo Beato. He even has that little head bob that Carlo has, kind of like not knowing it's happening.
Well, there's worse players to mimic. Carlo Beato, phenomenal talent. Philippines have really got some undercover players coming through, JJ. Probably 5 or 6 names we've never seen here in this tournament.
Yeah, and the scary thing, most of them are very young. So he's got to pop this a bit to get around for the 4. Using the full cue.
That will disappoint. Fedor prides himself in them type of shots, them little jump shots. He's built up a name for being the best jumper around. So when he doesn't pot one, that will wind him up. Tricky shot here. It's very easy to send this 3 ball into the bottom rail. Played the cheeky combo.
Yeah, it was a combo on the last game, and a kiss shot here, and really good speed, and you could hear the crowd's appreciation. The fight is trying to stay in it.
Yeah, it was a good shot. Never easy. Four pack from Feliciano. I always feel like it happens when you're down in the game as well. It's not easy to keep getting a look at the lowest ball.
Yeah, and really the way the balls are grouped, very hard to push out. Always hard to push out, giving up a look. So with the 3 over the left pocket, he's going to roll out to the jump. And you feel like Federer takes this on? Or has he looked at Michael and say, you missed a few jumps. You fouled on the last one. Ooh, is the speed okay? Yes, it is.
There we go. Had to make one.
Well, that's just a prime example of the mindset of the players on the direction they're heading in, wanting to take it away, not really leaning on a mistake from their opponent, understanding it's all about sitting them down.
We've seen this take a little easier.
Yeah, and he's going to make his calculations, and he knows he can do either, but what's best at the moment. And definitely for the slick table, definitely you can get a little more English to grab off the rail. I think I stay away from the inside if I feel pretty good. He's going to go between the 7-8 off a couple rails here.
He could also just play for the gap in between the brown 7 and 9. Doesn't need to bounce up high. Just get the gap.
Right, and take it on from maybe close to the end rail.
Which the 7 some way. He's going to be okay. There's no reason why Gorse is not going to pop these 5 balls. Peri Nineball open here.
Yeah, and the crowd's going to show you that appreciation, and it's for all the players that come, but they've fallen in love in a short time with Federer Gorse. Yeah, and hats off to Michael Feliciano. No fluke there at Sharks with a massive power field in the Philippines and another one here at the Peri Open. Isn't going to get the W, but still hats off and a great tournament.
Listen to the crowd as this Nineball disappears for the title. Fedor Ghost is your inaugural Peri Nineball Open champion. JJ, what a performance all week here for Fedor, and topped it off with the final as well.
Yeah, it's just what he does. He's can't win them all, but when you put in the time and you have that keen mind, he's going to get his fair share, and I love it just because he always wants to improve even more and more. So you're going to see more from Feliciano, I'm sure of it, but definitely more from Gorst. They're both going to be at the Hanoi Open just starting tomorrow.
Yeah, well said. There's the cheer, there's the fist pump. The young man, what a day he's had. He's been named as the second player in the Mosconi Cup for Team USA, and he's just snapped off this title right here.
Yeah, I'd say hats off to everyone here at the Peri Open, all the employees that have been so great, the fans even better, and of course all the hard work put into this ranking event, knowing the main event's starting tomorrow.
Yeah, this final arena table was set up. They took a load of pool tables out, about 20 pool tables from this section. They set 3 tables up. So we had 3 stream tables all week. The public was not allowed to come in and play. It was completely shut off for this event. Fantastic tournament here at the Peri Pool Club.
Yeah, that just shows you how much they're invested in Nineball pool here in Vietnam. And like you said earlier, the fun, real exciting thing about being around here is how young everyone is that's involved, whether it be fans, players, just everyone around the pool scene. Can't wait to see the masses that come out over the week, and just a lot of smiling faces for pool here in Vietnam.
Xin kính chào các quý vị và các bạn đang có mặt tại Peri Pool Arena. Và ngay sau đây chúng ta sẽ đến với lễ bế mạc của giải Peri Nineball Open 2023. Vâng, sau 5 ngày thi đấu đầy kịch tính với những trận đấu có chất lượng chuyên môn tuyệt vời cùng những khoảnh khắc xuất thần đã cống hiến cho khán giả những giây phút cháy hết mình với thể thao, Peri Nineball Open 2023 là sự kiện bên lề chuẩn bị cho Hanoi Open Pool Championship và cũng là giải ranking đầu tiên của Matchroom được tổ chức tại Việt Nam. Sau tổng cộng 222 trận đấu, chúng ta đã tìm ra 2 cơ thủ xuất sắc nhất để chiến đấu trong trận chung kết ngày hôm nay, đó là cơ thủ người Nga Fedor Ghost và cơ thủ người Philippines Michael Feliciano. Vâng, như mọi người vừa được chứng kiến thì chúng ta đã có một trận đấu hết sức kịch tính và mãn nhãn. Ngay sau đây, chúng tôi xin được mời lên sân khấu cơ thủ đã giành ngôi vị Á quân của Peri Nineball Open. Congratulations Michael Feliciano. Và ngay sau đây chúng tôi xin được kính mời lên sân khấu ông Chi Trung Truyền, đại diện của nhà tài trợ Peri lên sân khấu để trao hoa cho Á quân của chúng ta. Và xin một tràng pháo tay của tất cả các quý vị khán giả cho Á quân của chúng ta. Please come here. Dạ vâng, và trong tất cả các trận đấu của mình thì Feliciano luôn thể hiện một trạng thái luôn luôn rất lạnh lùng và luôn luôn xử lý tất cả những tình huống cơ rất đẳng cấp. Tuy nhiên thì có thể là trong trận đấu ngày hôm nay trước một đối thủ có thể nói là đẳng cấp thế giới thì những pha DB của anh thì có lẽ là chưa đủ chính xác. Và ngay sau đây thì chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục với phần quan trọng nhất, đúng không ạ? Sau đây chúng tôi xin được chúc mừng quán quân đầu tiên của Peri Nineball Open 2023, Fedor Ghost. Vâng, và chúng tôi xin được kính mời đại diện của nhà tài trợ sẽ trao cúp và hoa cho Federer. Và đây là lần đầu tiên Federer tham dự Peri Nineball Open và anh đã thể hiện đẳng cấp tuyệt vời của mình. Xin một tràng pháo tay nữa dành cho nhà vô địch của chúng ta. Và nhà vô địch của chúng ta sẽ nhận một phần thưởng có giá trị là tương đương 25.000 đô la. Thank you all of you. Xin cảm ơn đại diện của nhà tài trợ cũng như là cơ thủ Federer. Vậy là chúng ta đã tìm ra được nhà vô địch của Peri Nineball Open và giải đấu Peri Nineball Open 2023 đã thành công tốt đẹp. Thay mặt cho ban tổ chức, chúng tôi xin được trân trọng cảm ơn nhà tài trợ Peri cùng câu lạc bộ Peri Pool Arena. Xin cảm ơn các nhà tài trợ phát sóng VTV Cap, Việt Nam Billard Promotion và web thể thao.vn. Xin cảm ơn sự mẫn cán, tận tâm của toàn bộ team trọng tài, sự kiện, tình nguyện viên và sản xuất. Cuối cùng, trân trọng cảm ơn những tình cảm, sự quan tâm và theo dõi của các quý vị khán giả. Xin hẹn gặp lại quý vị và khán giả tại Hanoi Open Pool Championship.
Peri Open,
Congratulations.
tế tại Việt Nam. Tổng giải thưởng hơn 104.000 đô la Mỹ với 128 cầu thủ. Trong đó có những cầu thủ hàng đầu bảng xếp hạng Nineball Tour. Giải đấu ranking thuộc Matchroom với những diễn biến kịch tính, khó lường. Từ mùng 5 tháng 10 đến mùng 9 tháng 10 tại Peri Pool Arena, Việt Nam. Trực tiếp trên VTV Cap, web thể thao và Việt Nam Billard Promotion.